My name is Melanie Christodoulou and I'm the music director and radio host here at Eastside Radio 89.7 FM. As a music director, it's definitely something that I'm sort of finding out day by day what the entire role involves, because it is ever changing and there's a lot of different components to it. But mainly my role is to bring in new music to the station, and not just new music, but specifically the genres that we service. So specifically we focus on jazz. That's where we've grown out of. And then we cover as well as world, folk, alt country, soul, funk, hip hop, blues and roots. So that's the main part of what I do, whether it's surfing the internet, so like Twitter, Facebook, Pitchfork, those kind of sites that bring in new music, and Play MP with directly working with labels themselves, and looking to see if there's any new music out there. But the great thing about our station is that we also deal a lot with independent artists, and it's a really strong area I think that we've developed, in that we really care about bringing forth their sound. We're just happy if the music is of amazing quality, which honestly, there is some really great stuff coming out of Australia at the moment, particularly in the jazz scene. Last week, for example, I had Francesca Brahasti. She's a new piano player who has just graduated from the con, and she's also debuted her album, which is Night Trip. We had it as our feature album of the week. We heard it, both myself and the station manager loved it, and I was lucky enough to have her on my radio show, and we're great friends now. So it's definitely a fun, crazy experience of meeting really inspirational and talented musicians from all walks of life that we get to promote on the station. I think that's the great thing about my role at the moment, is that I get this dual purpose of not only listening to the sound, but also understanding more of the artist and then presenting that whole package to all of our listeners. I feel like that there's a lot of noise, and the good thing about Eastside is that we have a lot of specialist programs. So the presenters themselves take it upon themselves to program their shows, which means that it's not just me bringing new music, it's also what they're hearing, what they're loving. And then their shows might be bound by a genre, which most of the time that they are. Then they sort of create a playlist of whether it's new or just newfound sounds, and putting it out to the audience there. So it's bringing to the community the different sounds of the world out there at the moment, and definitely different to what commercial stations are playing. It's about, like, you go on the internet and there is a wealth of musicians, and our role, I think, is to decode that and decipher that and put forward the true standout talents amongst all of that cloudedness and that sound that's coming through, online. Oh, it's very crazy. I would say probably the craziest days are when we get our AMRAP packages, which is about maybe 30 or 40 CDs in one pack. So it's a mix of whether it's sorting out individual CDs, because we do get those a lot from individual artists. Our record labels sometimes send us stuff as well, but not as often. They prefer to use online, so it'd be searching Play MPE and Pitchfork and those kind of guys. And then a couple of emails if I manage, We're sort of in a funny time in the music industry where we're transitioning sort of mainly to digital, but it's not a complete switch over. So there's a real diversity in the range of ways that the music is presented. So I sort of move across all different formats, and then take a listen to them and see what I like, and see what it's not just what I like, it's what the station likes. It's what our sound is. I think the way that we discover music is going to change, and we're slowly getting comfortable with it. It's definitely going to go all digital. I don't think we're going to see physical stocks, and that's not just from the development of like SoundCloud for independent artists. Also, labels are starting to change. We might need to develop a way to cope with the sheer volume of music, because as I was saying, on the internet, everyone posts their stuff, and it's so easy to do that. But at the same time, there's only so many of us that can, go through so much music and sort through it and then present it, through our various radio stations. it wasn't something that I'd envisioned myself taking on a role. It's not that I'm not grateful for it. It is an incredible experience. I've never learned so much in such a short period of time and got so much more confidence in myself to do a role like this. Because I mean, I'm still in uni. I'm only 18 years old. It's really, everything's really new and really fresh. Every day I walk in, I don't know what I'm going to get. I have no idea sort of what's going to come at me. I know that there's going to be a lot of music involved, which is great. But it's really, it keeps you on your toes. And the other great thing is you meet so many amazing people, whether it's publicists who are really, you're having these long chats in someone, in London or, in WA about, artists that we're both really passionate about, or presenters themselves who have, discovered some new artist online. They're saying, you need to have a listen to this. These are great guys. I really want to promote them, and you really get behind them, as well as artists themselves, because we're lucky enough to have a few come in from time to time, whether it be musicians or people from the creative arts industry, and sort of talking to them about, what do they love? What's their passion? What's their job? It was completely new and strange, and I would definitely say I never walk in sort of completely confident, but you put on a smile and you don't let anyone know. The other thing about it too is that it's okay not to know, and because of the wealth of experience that the presenters have, and also the management here have had in all walks of life in the entertainment industry, there's always someone here who will probably have a good answer to whatever your question is. So whatever gaps in my knowledge there have been, and trust me, there are a lot, there's been a presenter or someone on hand to help me out with it. I didn't know, but I'm learning. I think you have to just have a passion for the music. And Eastside is really different because it's not, like I said, you're a commercial station. So you need to understand the sound. I also had an internship with a different record label, and that sort of got me prepared as to how those labels operate. So it was on quite a large scale. So it was learning, what are the timetablings for publicists, how to commune with them, what are they looking for, and that kind of thing. So that practical experience was really key for me, I think, just improving my confidence to say yes to this job.